Oh shit, I'm in the wrong place. Ah. The stream died. Everything overheated and exploded. But we're temporarily back. Pending no more explosions.
Top ramp.
Helen ramp. Raises Helen. He's synced. Oh, they're all here.
So,
Get heal.
They fell back to Roves.
Raises
Wait, there were
dipped
two.
up,
There's
so-
3 heaven. Come back, come back.
No,
It's one Roves. Yeah, well, I'm just gonna keep pressure here.
Raises 1 HP.
Mail. He's blind. Or not
Suck.
mail. You mean. They're going. We go back A.
Go B. It's
Nice.
B.
He's B main still or from?
Spike down A.
Just wait him in. Cal walk up behind him. Just wait.
You have
Is she back?
Or
Nah, 3.
In Twitch?
Can heal you now, quick.
yeah.
Healing 30 seconds
I
left.
flash and answer.
She's a fucking genius.
It's probably still marked up.
Yeah,
to
but
go,
she's
no
a
time.
genius.
Just had genius.
Like most geniuses, I suppose.
Sewer.
Last player standing.
Nice. 1 second. Fuck. Oh dear.
Need a drop.
Did not mean to buy everything there.
Spike down A. Last player standing.
There's so much damage with no kills.
Make sure to follow my pack in. They'll lead us right to the enemy.
Can we do this, Mike?
Yeah, I mean, if I get a kill.
Was your one kill a nice kill, at least?
Careful of the Viper.
No.
No. Like someone just like running away on 1 HP.
Yep.
I can't believe he's done that. No one's there to punish. It's unfortunate.
Still on top of the wall.
It never ceases to amaze me, like, how often that gets kills. Even when people are expecting it to
I just
happen.
thought we had more people mid.
I thought so too.
Last player standing. One enemy remaining.
Ooh.
Yeah, they're just better.
Yep. Uh-oh.
Okay.
Oh no.
Oh my god. Are you kidding me with this shit?
Match point.
Oh my
Oh
god.
god.
Fucking nightmare.
Oh, where's my screen stuck? I can't see. Oh no. No, it's not that. Can you hear me, Mike?
Yeah.
I have like a black screen. I can like hear the game, but I can't see or do anything. Why is this happening right now?
Walking down mid.
What do I do? No, I know. It's back. Well, I literally can't see anything.
Spike down B.
Is
Two
it-
male.
Last player standing.
What's that? Yeah. I have a black screen. I can hear sound though. This is fun.
Rip.
This is so dumb. Are they trying to kill me? Why is this? What's happening? I think the only way to fix this is just restart my game or to for the game
30
to end.
seconds left.
Well, it's about to end, so.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
No charges left.
This is
10
unfortunate.
seconds left.
Thank God.
Defenders win.
I can't see anything still. I'm gonna have to restart the game. Jesus.
Alright.
Okay, we're back. I think. Everything's going wrong. All right. There we go.
He fixed.
Yes. Man. The game was definitely quite winnable.
What?
That game was definitely quite winnable. I had a couple.
I've just changed my send, so we'll see.
What do you change to?
I went from 0.265 800 to 0.298 800.
Wait, what was the second one? 0.265 to what?
Match
0.298.
found.
Ah, I see. So still, I'm still like mine's twice as fast as yours then.
Yeah.
I might start playing Apex again, you know. That game is awesome.
Yeah, a bunch of people have been playing it recently.
It's been going alright. I mean, pretty much what you can expect from matchmaking. I had a 13-2 win, then got stomped like 2-13, and then had an atrocious game again. I see. It really seems to be one or the other.
Their jet is fast. So are rabbits and squirrels. I hunt both.
I'll be my garage. I'd love to have Bree's face as a skin on my gun.
My phone?
Go get him.
Enemy spotted me.
One C plot. Stage C plot.
Jet's grounded.
I take C.
Now we're cooking.
One enemy remaining.
Gun here.
Flawless.
Nice.
You're outthought, outfun.
Find them again. Kill them again.
Quality of life changes. I think they like announced that you can do teams and play like tournaments and stuff. That would be pretty amazing. Like mixed teams that you could play tournaments with. That would be really cool.
I will find you.
Like run competitions with it, and you could do all sorts. It'd be great.
Smoke's down.
Bomb buddy out.
One close left. Karma talking, bro.
Jet's grounded.
One enemy remaining. Flawless. They were blind. Reload.
Raze, you always work to lift our spirits. Thank you. Together.
Go get him.
Mid.
I'll drone up. He must be playing like close garage.
Oh my god. One push down mid.
Spike
Come on, get on it, get on it.
Spikes down in grass.
Why?
Launching smoke.
And one C site.
Cage trigger. Found you.
Enemy spotted me. You're not.
Last player standing.
Oh, I wanted to ban it.
And see.
Stay taut as a bowstring. The fight demands it.
Let's run an A.
Come on, let's go.
I'm watching here.
Satchel out.
Scanning ahead. Smoke's down. Deploying drone. Down and out.
Enemy spotted.
One
Bomb
side
buddy out.
default. Nice. Spawn, out spawn too.
Two out spawn.
Cage trigger.
I went back.
Launching smoke. Molly. Stim beacon down.
I have flank. Nobody's flanking.
That's 3.
One enemy remaining.
Disappoint me.
Revealing area. There they are.
Hold it. I'm still hungry. There.
I can't see them yet.
Thank you, you too, RM168168. Hope you're also having a great day.
Can I get a drop? Thanks. Bomb buddy out.
Push me.
Push mid.
Yeah, two.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Reloading.
Let's
go A, let's go A, let's go.
Windows, Sage is back to C. Yeah, go A. There's 2 towards C.
Push cross.
There's 2 mid.
Hit for 70.
Spike planted.
Bullseye.
Jet was also around.
Going through B, I'm pretty sure.
One enemy remaining.
Nice, well played.
What do they think this is? A backyard scrimmage?
Can I get a drop?
Just gonna own the Jet or whoever walks down mid.
Let me find you again.
Get out of my way.
They always push mid.
Jet's
Mid dead.
grounded.
One more.
Smoke's down.
Let's go A. We're going A.
One enemy remaining.
C player normally.
Spike planted.
Yo, Mega 10 Tyler 45-46. Were you in like one of my other games playing Reyna? But I dodged.
Satchel out.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, man.
Are you good? It's because I
How am I in
dropped
your
like
game now?
35 kills and we drew, so I got pissed. So I would
Oh,
pop
yeah.
off Arena.
Yeah, but like, how am I in your game? Like, I sat here for like 5 minutes after I dodged, and like,
And we're still here? I don't know.
I'm not really a stream tech, so
what
I
rank is this?
probably
I mean,
don't
I'm
have any good
searching,
advice
so-
to you, Mickey, so Cooks go.
Yeah, but like, what rank is
The
that?
Cooks go.
account?
This?
Um,
It's like
let me
high
see.
diamond, I think.
Okay. What's your main?
I'm like top 2k right now.
Oh, nice.
But good thing y'all are fragging, I'm not complaining.
Sova backs up. He's in.
Satchel
So
out.
is Omen.
Back
One
left,
logs, one back left.
Omen.
Yeah, these kids are so bad.
One more.
There's
One
someone
enemy
here, right?
remaining.
Wasn't there? I'm so confused.
These kids are
I
hard.
thought so.
Bad.
And Jet was like hiding from me.
Hope I have more kills than last game, so it must
Yeah.
be doing something right with the sense here. I changed up like how I was sitting, so I think that's part of it.
Oh, nice, that helps.
I put like my chair lower and stuff.
I mean, it could just be that you have the routing to the server that you're sending the data to could be bad, so you could try a different server. That could be one thing you could try.
Nowhere to run.
Pop a B, Omen, Jet push garage doors.
Push mid.
Take flight.
Jet's on top of the wall, see. Pretty sure.
Alex scared. I can't roll my R's. The scared. Can't do that. But thank you very much for the $5 donation.
Jet is C still.
I dodged you. I don't know. I really don't know.
Go here.
I don't know. It's always been odd to me that
C, Silva unknown.
we haven't seen great Dutch representation in tactical FPS overall. I mean, CS:GO, you know, for a long time it's just Chris J. You know, he's up there. It's very weird. Like
Last player standing.
back in the old Quake days, there were a bunch of amazing Dutch players. Like one of the greatest players
Just hold.
ever. You know, VU,
Yo, Sova.
for example, is Dutch.
Yeah.
That's not you, right? That's the buddy.
There's a lot of really good Dutch CTF players.
Oh, I think
Some
they're
jewelers as well. Like there's some really top tier players
Anyone have any
In-
space?
in the old Quake
They don't
days.
have the fingers.
What, buddy?
So I'm not sure what the
buddy.
deal is.
Oh, yeah, that on my main.
Not sure what the deal is in tactical FPS world because you would expect it to be more.
I know.
I feel like.
That's crazy. My friend, there's some dude in Europe that he knows that's like was working on early Valorant. He got him his, and he was like, "Yeah, man, I got you." He said he can give you one too.
I
But
got it.
I
It's
forgot
hard
it.
to get, to be honest. Garage. Backside, backside.
Yeah, no, he might have like found
Nothing
someone else.
close.
Just like,
Oh, yeah, hard left, hard left.
There's 2 on C. I'm 1 HP. Sova here. Can you save room? Oh, I'm dead. Sova and Jet are C. Go A. Yeah, walk down C.
Alright, just stay here.
2 on C still. Omen's unknown. 1 more C.
dude, there's
140.
One enemy remaining.
Nice.
no way. This is the same rank I was playing last game. Last game I literally couldn't peek 2 pixels without getting a 1 dig. And now these kids are just so bad.
Where's this last guy?
Maybe he's AFK.
Reloading.
Nope. Stairs.
Enemy spotted.
Yeah, I mean CGS. That's 2008. It's still a long time ago. It's crazy to think how long ago that was. The CGS.
The symphony of death. Don't worry. You get
Why am I so
I made
rich?
a
We're
quarter
gonna kill
in
this.
London. Dude, this Cypher, I feel so bad for him. I outplay him every time. Yo, what do you guys think about the Z bundle?
to explode.
I like the sound, but I think it's gonna get overrated
Get
soon.
out of my way.
I think it is already overrated. Like, I was gonna buy that.
Good trade.
Mid, 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 mid.
Take flight.
Push that mid already. Nice.
Where is everyone hiding?
He's gonna res. Oh, they broke my trip.
No more.
One enemy remaining.
Wait, that's actually kind of cool. Look, if you right click it, the cone goes out, but if you click, wait, am I tripping? Yeah, definitely switch.
Probably not on this stream, Wayne the Waffle, not today, but if you're talking about the one I'm thinking that you're talking about,
Yeah, look at this.
you can either see it on the
The cone
YouTube
changed
VODs
directions on
or
if you left
search
click or right click.
search Final Torture
Look,
Quake
right?
3 defrag, and you'll surely find it.
Look, right there. If you left click, like the sound wave cone goes outwards, and if you right click, it goes inwards, or what, like
Oh,
vice
yeah, I
versa.
see.
Wow, you were really amazed by that fact, weren't you, Trey?
Dude, it's-
Smoke's down.
He's heaven.
Left.
Heaven,
One
heaven.
spawn. Heaven spawn then.
One enemy remaining.
Spawn, pretty sure.
Yeah, bomb.
Nice one. What's up, Flicky
When did
Val?
I pick up this?
Last
Oh,
round
I got
in
it.
the half.
I
Okay,
have
wait,
it.
who was asking about the right bunny? Yo, okay. Low key, couldn't they have picked some like cooler Zed music to put for this thing?
Oh, like clarity?
No, but I don't know, some like EDM shit. This is so like low key and like elevatory. This is
think
like
it costs-
elevator Zed.
It costs more to get the rights to the music. The studio owns the music.
Well, I mean, like even if he just designed some like cool like little synthwave shit, like I don't know.
With 66. Jet top 2.
Like,
Oops.
dude, this kid's dashing into a wall. Like,
One C window.
Window.
Oh my god. That's what the nade should have gone. It would have blocked him. I could have held the position.
Still window.
Launching smoke.
Would be nice. Oh dear. That's a whiff and a half.
Last player.
Oh, it's all falling apart now.
Spike down B.
Oh, where's the res going to take place?
I have the spike.
Surely he will res somebody.
There. There. Spike planted.
You will not kill my allies.
He had him spawned, didn't he? One spawn, two garage. Oh, he's got two flashes.
Enemy remaining.
no, I didn't have a thing, man.
Indeed.
He had two flashes, Mike. Two
All
flashes.
good.
So I should have just fucking
Switching
kept
sides.
spraying.
The enemy's line of sight. If they're blind, we move.
Yo, gangsta, what you doing, Raze? Yo, hear me out, Raze. Buy shorty, double satchel, right there.
But I don't want it.
Right in. Aw, that would have been kind of cool. I'm not gonna cap.
That's pretty funny.
I got.
Nothing mid. Oh. Alright, he's got two out grass,
C.
Enemy mark.
2C long. Omen absolutely wrecked me. 1C window, flanking you.
Up garage, up garage.
One enemy remaining.
Wait, fucking garage.
Nice one.
Bet you never seen me trip this fucking hard before.
If they try something, I see it.
Yo, how toxic would this be?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay. Hey, G.
May it's just some sort of karma for your PC Shane out me gained 1 kill last game.
With res 30 kills.
Mars, go. Jet Surrounded.
One dink to lobby.
Down you go.
Bomb buddy out. Out of charges.
One enemy remaining.
Spike spotted.
Okay, who's got this map?
Reloading.
Oh, surrounded by minha família. We won't lose.
Good work. Thanks.
Oh, is it? Is it? You think it's shrunk the level? Oh, I appreciate that. Definitely would be back. Pending opportunities. Steph's garage. Oh man, that's not going how I wanted it to go. And I'm too slow on the rotation there as well. But that's not good to hit. But yeah, I appreciate that. That you missed me at least. Best way to learn ranks.
I like force spawn it.
Yeah, ranked is definitely a different thing. I mean, you're just basically in. It's like ranked is kind of like. It's a good example.
Out of charge.
Ranked is kind of like if you ever played chess or like go on chess.com and they have those chess puzzles. Like you're gonna get, you're gonna get things like puzzles to solve basically, and you can like learn how, the logic of how some of those things function. But the greater picture of like what a chess match is, you can't get that in a matchmaking game that is in any way representative of how it is in a pro match. But you can, again, like learn slices of the game. It's just about putting them together where you need to, if you're actually training for trying to be really good at the competitive level, you need to play with a team and play comp matches with the team. And you can then fit those pieces together. But otherwise, that's kind of what matchmaking offers you in a great degree of variance. So I think there's a lot of value to it. You just have to know how to get the value out of it. You can work on lots of different things. One mids.
Sage 180. Cypher's outside A.
I'm alive!
One window, I heard him stub. Good Cypher. One garage.
I know exactly where you are.
Give me a garage.
So just gonna like hold the perimeter on an off angle. I want some info.
I know.
It snuck to a.
Spike planted.
So the best way to learn ranked. Oh, Sage is still C window. So the best way to learn ranked is by, I think, taking the game like one step at a time. Like, try like you wanna have an understanding of how all the agents' abilities work. So like getting some basic play on all of the basics across the agents, just so you know what it does, is good, because then you can start to know how to expect things, how any given agent might try to, like what kind of tactics do they want to use to put themselves in a good position. You can recognize those when they're used against you if you have some more context as to like how those abilities work. So that's like a good place to start, and then you start focusing on the agents that actually make sense for you in terms of like your playstyle and what you want to learn.
Tonight.
Yeah, pretty much. 1 second.
You doing more or?
Am I doing one more?
I just wrote my review.
Cool. Oh, nice.
Ew, he touched me. It's gross.
Let's do it. Oh yeah, I'll finish the answer.
Match found.
So once you've done that, you can then start working out where do you struggle, and then just like kind of you can base it around that. Like, where do you feel the most uncomfortable? Is it on the attack? Is it on the defense? Then just look at pro streams and start to understand like when they're on the attack or defense with some of the agents that you play. What are some of the things that they do and why? And you can probably pick up like something you can just repeat, and you may not understand it, but you might begin to understand it, you know, as you practice it, and you'll learn something. You'll learn like at least one thing. And sometimes you'll find that like when you do things like this, you'll learn a bunch of stuff at once. And that tells you you're kind of in the right place in terms of like what your approach and watching things and then figuring out how you can apply those things. And that improves your game. So that's some kind of process like that's usually a good place to start. If you just play aimlessly and don't try to like pick things to kind of work on, the progress comes a lot slower because the game's so complex. You don't, you know, you have to make it, you know, put it into bite-sized chunks. What should I play?
What you gonna go for here?
Choose your agent.
Playing Judd again.
Oh, were you dead?
Do could oh
No.
that's too late.
Why did you ask me?
Oh sorry, it's too late. I panicked. Dvi Barrow.
Your punishment
Hello.
is that you have to like. It's not on the computer. It didn't land on it.
That's good. Okay.
Anyway, your punishment is that you can't buy for 2 hours.
Okay, but can you have some kitchen towel? That's true.
It's very needy. I'll get it. It's carpet.
Yeah, that's true. Today has been there's a lot of technical issues happening. I think we're okay. And also like, you know, starting to understand the mechanics is good too. Like, also look at like how pros move around angles and what angles they decide to take and why, and try to start thinking about these things in this way, and then you'll be, you know, you'll have a lot more success, I think, than just again aimlessly playing, because the way that pros move, the way they move their mouse, the way they move, like, do they choose to step over here as they walk towards this angle, or are they, you know, what are they looking like? How are they doing it? You want to ask yourself all these questions. All these things have reasons. They've been optimized. They've been min-maxed, and so that's an easy way to kind of speed up your learning. I'm gonna break the wall.
You motherfuckers are quiet.
She fell off the wall.
One sitting in smoke door.
Close right. Find the wall.
Close
find the
right.
wall.
Is it our Cypher's camera? It was, wasn't it? It was.
Seven.
That confused me.
Dog in heavy.
I need...
One enemy remaining.
Oh, okay.
I have flash.
Both of you.
If we lose this one.
Fine, I don't want you either.
I got a lob.
Oh, he won.
No, by God.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I mean, matchmaking is hard as well because there's also variance when you get really good, obviously. I don't even know what the dynamic's like right now in terms of playing with other people. At like Radiant. Like, how impactful is the stacking? You know, is it better to solo queue? Like, I have no idea.
Coming in. Couple. I hear at least 2 A. They saw bomb.
Push here, push here.
Push B main.
Spike down mid.
Like we main, one man.
One more cat, one cat.
One cat side.
I was talking about this earlier, that there's this idea that with improving, it's difficult because sometimes you just have to like change your direction, right? Sometimes the question is, can I improve me? Like, is it worth improving at this thing? For example, with matchmaking, you know, there might be massive diminishing returns to improving in matchmaking. So, but what you might get way more gains from is playing on a team. And so, especially if you get to Radiant, I would imagine like playing on a team would presumably be somewhat of a priority in some respects if you spent that much time trying to get good. And and so on. So
That Sky double
so you
dip
would probably get way more
He
meaningful
won't be here
games
to-
from actually playing like competitive
Very good.
matches, because that's actually what's important. Stuff like winning matchmaking games ultimately is not important.
Just push it.
Go get 'em. Spike carrier's down.
Spike down B.
That's a Vandal.
If you guys saw the flick,
Cat right now. I like was ready for the peak, but not ready for the peak at the same time. Oh, that's not the gun.
Spike
For the job?
down B.
one on B.
Yeah. I definitely think matchmaking has its place in like practice. I think it's good. You can practice all kinds of things. You can do whatever you want, really. But thanks to the donation and the follow, Alex Skur, the second donation. I won't be able to ever say that. I'm like tongue tied, so I can't actually like roll my R's.
Bro, that Sky hit the.
Yeah. So Zywo's an
Never
interesting
hit that.
example because Zywo
It's a really good.
Zywo has
He's wasted all fucking 25
some
bullets to kill 2
special
people.
abilities going on. He's different. He is built diff, you know. So is different.
I'm pretty sure I heard 3
He
bullets.
he can
before
he can aimlessly, but he can aimlessly do that, and he can get away with it. He's Zywo, you know. For most people, that works only to a certain level. For a lot of people, it gets to a certain point, you get stuck.
Bomb buddy out.
Careful lurk. One cat.
Yeah, someone's
Right side cat.
Good on B.
Still right side, still there. One mid. Sky dogging mid. Nice.
got.
Good trades, good trades.
I think one more
Yeah,
cat.
yeah.
Let's get that.
Just wait on them. Wait there.
Out of charges.
3 CT.
We're planning A, we're planning B, guys.
B.
Oh god, it's one heaven.
You got ult after Sova too. You can get him behind or something. That was good.
You were near one. Both of them. I'm gonna hit one.
How's the Valorant scene treating you? Pretty well. I mean, would like to be casting right now, but you know,
One enemy remaining.
it is what it is. I mean, it gives you some time to actually play. Like I was, because I was like traveling in Europe for a few months. Had a setup for being able to play for like last like 4 or 5 months, which is not nice.
You should really updraft and
So I'm
check
very
that.
very rusty.
That's great.
Very rusty.
I can drop
Like
someone.
that ping.
Can I get a drop? Thanks.
You like the ping there, so.
Oh yeah, that helps. Big time.
Where are you?
She can assist for pinging.
I wish.
Get out of my way.
Probably a close cat.
Spike carrier's down.
Yeah. Oh, okay. She
No way.
Oh, what a gamer. I'm drawing through
I
the
see just
door.
cat.
Yeah, she's already up. She's already.
Yeah, they're all the way up.
I've got your trail.
Got blind.
I have retrieved the spike.
Hi, Bob.
I think my PC is overheating because I'm getting like some
Cat coming back A.
frames dropped. It crashed because of that reason earlier as well. So something is up. I have to investigate after the stream.
Or they do that.
Sky, man.
One
Nice.
more. Just
One more, man, one more.
Could be.
They both should be towards
Sage
there.
was mid.
Could be
He's
mid.
dug.
Yeah.
Mid cat. Should be free to.
Pushing
there.
Where was that trip?
Yeah.
Main, main.
I don't think he's there, trust me. I got your mid though.
You got
30
trips and everything.
seconds left.
Planted the spike.
I guess to a certain point as well, where like, you know, when you hit that wall, because you're not, because your name is not Zyru or Simple. And by the way, like actually someone like Simple, he plays an extraordinarily large amount of FPL and stuff, but he also puts in massive hours everywhere else. So he's a perfect example of enormous talent, enormous work ethic.
Enemy remaining.
I wonder if he'll end up being like the LeBron of Counter-Strike.
Coin sight with you.
I fucked
They
it up.
just shit on us and
Like maintaining an extremely high level for like an unprecedented period of time.
One of my cameras is broken.
I don't know why I went back. Nah, it's fine. I don't know. He just like went back because he made a step here, and then he just wide swung me. I was just gonna
she's
walk
the one
in and
that
kill one.
she's the one that swung cat wide and just instantly headshot me in the
Marshalled two
or-
people.
or-
Don't worry,
was
I'll
it?
do it. I'll do it back to him.
full fucking sprint run.
Satan's walls are coming down.
Shadows traveling.
Oh yeah, I actually
Shot
TP'd
through
away.
Smoking cat.
Bomb buddy out.
I have dropped the spike.
I'm gonna maybe all three just
Opposite two.
Take Jet for 50.
let's go. One was push B mid.
Oh my god. Jet hit 60. Omen lit at 90. Can't believe Omen escaped. I ran out of bullets. I thought the spray was pretty on as well
Going for the repeat mid.
when he was in that first TP.
Nice, good shot.
Last player standing.
Tiles in one spot.
Spike down mid.
That's a tiles guy.
No charges
I'm gonna go for the opposite.
One thing I used to do, you know, we're talking about like training protocols and stuff. One of the things I used to do was, I mean, I'm definitely like have a way better time earlier in the day, especially
10 seconds left.
Oh, okay.
these days. And I used to like have a cap of hours that I would play because I would always guarantee to myself that I would be at 100% in those hours, and I would stop and do other stuff afterwards. And one of the things I found that was useful about that is, again, like you are not giving yourself kind of bad habits by just, you know, playing when you're tired. Because when you're tired, you do make more mistakes, and you
Shake them up.
I think I got
you aren't as
140.
focused in your practice.
One
Up
cat,
mid,
one
up
cat.
mid, up mid.
Nice, full cat. Where?
130, close. Nice.
Dead.
Sage is A, Sage is A.
One was scouting cat.
Peeking B main.
Tiles
Come right
off.
here. What?
He's running
Cat
backwards.
is lit.
Why is the Marshal like
Last
this?
player standing. Spike down mid.
That's real.
Cypher, have you tripped B main recently?
Nah, my bad.
No, it's fine. Can you start doing it next round? Because now they're just like pushing. Or we can default it, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll beam-bot it at the start.
No, you can save it.
I'm gonna peek cat because there's ego peeking. We're gonna save this round, Phoenix.
I say plus.
I've been casting Valorant when the jobs are there. I cast when jobs there.
One cat,
Raining
raining.
cat. I'm darting him.
Get it.
Hit Sage 100s. There's 2A.
Spike down mid. Last player standing.
Stay down.
Yeah, I mean it's partly because also like
Recording this.
Simple and Zoe do get indeed put in positions to be the mega carry,
Mid and cat.
whereas it is a little
We
bit
might as well
different
just go.
historically with Astralis because Device was never put in the situation where he would have to flex an insanely high skill ceiling all the time.
If we start to block.
But Zayu and Simple often were having to do that just because of how the teams are set up. So it is an interesting debate. I think you can definitely have that debate and have it go a bunch of different directions.
Waiting for the fucking PQ. Yep, and she's shooting me through the.
Bomb buddy out.
I'm gonna ult in through this.
Spawn, Omen spawn.
Push me, man.
Oh, push me main, push me main.
Yeah, good.
2 mid.
One heaven.
Satchel out.
I'll try across.
Spike carriers down.
Split 140. Omen's
Spike
like
down mid.
It's over.
nice. Sky and Jet mid. Sage is
Oh,
there.
yeah.
too.
Chest spawn.
Player standing.
Cross 2
Will
mid.
not kill my ally.
See, like peeking there is, or wide swinging there is
Probably
definitely
just
an
need it in
undisciplined play. Given that the spike's down,
I just
you can do it though, of course. But
Jet didn't dash over.
Just avoid it.
if I was thinking, what I have to do there is like, you know, what you always have to have in your mind is like this mental map of like where everybody is on the other team.
Was still active.
This is like one of the beginner things, you know, beginners, you want beginners to like focus on, okay, understand that this is how many people will roughly be playing this site and there'll be a person in mid, like how's the other team playing? You got to take note of that because then later on in the mid rounds, you can make reads on player rotations. And
Hold on, let's walk into this. One's
I definitely did not have Jet in my head for that one.
130.
That's what I need.
They're playing 4B main.
Always. Backside.
Could be walked up mid. Dogging through B main.
Nice, good shot.
Jet's mid.
That's not.
One heaven, yeah. One door.
Heaven. Play safe. I'm gonna grab. Three heaven? We rotate. Run B. Go through mark. I'm going straight through. They can't be on B side.
They're rotating to B.
That's fine. I guess so.
One on A side still.
Trying to avoid them. Get back to site for defense. I'm gonna flash right here just so they don't look.
One tree.
Should be
Making noise for you.
Both out.
Full CT,
Okay.
full CT.
so that they looked for you still.
I was gonna play post plant now. They use their flash. No flashes on either.
Last player standing. One enemy
just a cheating.
remaining.
I think you went on time.
Good job.
Good job.
Nice.
Thank you.
Remember, wipe the prints from your guns.
I don't get why they
What's up, Nasty Nate?
quick flash you in.
That's funny.
I
What
turned
info did
from
we
it.
get?
It's just the Omen was ready.
Oh, I get that, but like, why are they even
Well, they
flashing
got
that?
a main wire. I don't have a wire
It's
B
not a
main,
bad
so be
play.
careful B main push.
Out from spawn, so there's.
Do we did boombot it?
Yeah, boom bought it. They're trying to play in B main.
Dog.
This guy was playing in this corner. And the Jet was holding the top.
Okay.
Okay. Sage wall literally.
Just backside.
Right now, Sage are on A.
Omen's halls, and you Jets also be stairs.
I have no cage to cross.
Oh, can help.
Check Jet. You just gotta go. Oh,
Sage should be here on A.
behind your wall, maybe?
Nah, she's heaven, I'm pretty sure. Unless there's someone else by data.
Get out of my way.
I'm gonna dart heaven, get ready, okay?
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready.
Darting heaven.
I'm jumping heaven. I'm jumping heaven.
She's still up there, what?
One more there.
Last player standing.
Two. Almost hit.
One enemy remaining.
My bad, I whiffed.
I've just literally been full sprinting headshot by the Kenny guy every fucking. He doesn't even shoot more than one.
Last round before the switch.
I didn't. Did they know you were there or something?
Probably.
When Satchel threw, I was gambling that the Omen had fallen back into the site. Thinking we were going to push initially.
Maybe not, the Omen wasn't even aware.
Because of the nades as well, like cleared that spot.
Let's make him dance.
But no.
I'm gonna drone this.
Deploying drone.
Always absolutely right me right. Backside.
Same as always.
Right side. Instantly one shot me. Holy shit.
Right at 8.
No more.
Nice try. This guy's up there. Oh,
Spike down.
yeah, this guy's up cat over.
So there I was trying to like appear at the same time the guy shoots the drone.
He's gonna repeat heaven. I have my ult.
Because you know if he's just shooting the drone,
Player
you have to shoot like a few bullets to kill the drone. So if I catch someone starting their fight when they're 5 bullets deep on their recoil, then it gives me a better chance, and then gonna have to flick to me after spraying something. So that's the idea there. Like went in with your drone, I got insta one tapped in the air. That Sage is nuts.
Don't go to his site.
We'll come back. I can feel it.
Revealing area.
Lot A, lot A.
It's just a.
Come in, come in, come in. On settle.
Nice, good.
2 more deep. Gen. Both.
One enemy remaining.
What?
Gen left.
Oh, I get 0 hits? What was happening? I know. I don't know, man.
Where's your dig?
Thank you.
Probably gonna be hard to beat this round. Somebody come make.
I'll boom both tiles.
Just play cat, so I don't think they're really gonna come here. Just in case.
Bomb buddy out.
I hear nothing B.
He's silent, watch his head.
I'm one man.
One up cat possibly, Jet.
Flank.
I'm Sub Rosa.
Nah.
B main.
One enemy remaining.
Grounded.
my ears again, right?
Fucking stage, pre-fired.
They try the same old tricks.
Oh, you have his Ares. So that's yours, right?
No.
That's mine, that's mine.
Oh, one of yours.
I have a feeling they're going to go A this time.
B main?
Lots B main.
Never mind.
There's Russian this.
One tiles.
One on top of the wall and one out. One lit 139 here and one's on the wall B main.
Fighting.
This guy's lit 139.
Spike planted.
One backside.
Bow house.
They're both on site.
Come on, let's go!
One's on the
box. Box lit
Player standing.
Thanks, bro.
32.
Oh. If the Phoenix walled out lane there and flashed through, that would be money.
Yeah.
The Spectre's
Am I
so
just
dumb.
playing a bunch of Radiants or something?
I was here and I ran all the way to here when they were up lane, just running with the Spectre, and I did so much damage.
Running gun is pretty damn OP still. They nerfed it a little bit, right? I forget now. I think they did.
It was like walking speed, and it's only for like certain guns mostly, like the rifles.
Go get it.
SMGs is
Hey,
very prevalent.
Lot A.
Why is he so much better than me? Top mid.
He's dogging.
Just
Careful, cat.
Not out.
ah.
They're going back. Yeah, they're going back.
Losing all my fights, like all my duels.
One A main.
There you can see, like, again. So I think I have the advantage in that fight because in that fight that I just had, I'm here in mids and I peek, take a shot, so I take first action. Sage responds to try to shoot me, but I'm not committing to the fight. Then I wait because I know that the Sage is going to start spamming the wall. And if the Sage does start spamming the wall, I swing and then catch Sage spamming the wall. So that happens. I swing and then I like miss one bullet, hit a second in the torso, and then just get owned. I think that's what happened. But that was the thinking behind all of that, basically.
Cool.
You just always. Am I crazy to say?
I've seen like so owned in these fights against Sage specifically. Even when I have the advantages every time I lose the fight.
Rip.
Yeah.
I was peeking mid with a Marshall, show him what's up.
Nice. Yeah, he usually swings to top mid.
Probably, yeah. Here anyways?
B main. Couple.
One walled up.
Nice. Two B main.
TV main.
Jet.
Tiles.
That's the fight I'm looking for because I'm taking the initiative there
Tiles going
with
B main.
a pistol.
One B main.
One's already on there. Why are we leaving?
It was either that or play fallback angles and let them slowly like kind of control the movement forward. I think like on pistol rounds it's usually nice if you get that kill first because, you know, if you're a good player unlike me right now, you'd hit that shot probably because you know exactly where they're standing. It's a pretty small choke point when you go for that swing. And if you get the kill, then you can fall back and then play a passive, and they are stuck. So like the reward is really high. It's like a really high reward for that kind of maneuver. If you play it passive and just let them take the space, then they are able to separate you from your teammates and handle you all one step at a time, and they get close to getting a spy plant. And because they have better guns and stuff, you know, I think, you know, you usually, again, we talk about this in like casts and stuff, like when there's, you know, a chip buy for a team, they're going to be incentivized, or if they have worse weapons, they're going to be incentivized to take the initiative early, because that's how you can convert with
Odin, see if we can win off that.
That's how you can convert those kinds of rounds. It's getting early kills and by taking the initiative.
Bro, you know what rank you're in.
Nothing B.
I've got your trail.
Just gonna be A.
They're full blind.
Nice.
Right here.
That's how it's got llama. How's the game?
You will not kill my ally.
2 at 80.
Spike planted. Last player standing.
Oh, NC.
Match point.
I'm twitchy here. Let's go already.
Kind of afraid of them just bum rushing me now. I'm just gonna risk it.
The hunt begins.
Of course, of course.
Still rushing B.
Oh no, he's died straight away.
Out.
Aim alert, nice.
Spike planted.
What a gun.
I know, it's pretty legit.
One lane, one sight. Lane in sight still.
Last
sight.
player standing.
120.
One enemy remaining.
This guy's 1 HP.
Come on, dude.
Might be lane.
He got off again, yeah. Oh, he's owned him. GG.
Attackers win.
GG.
Get out of my way.
Alright, that has to be my last.
Alright, dude. GG's.
Talk to you later. GG's.
Thanks for playing. Catch you later. Alright, guys, I'm gonna get a quick one in. Quick last one in. Yeah, it is interesting too, because when you're thinking about like what plays to make and so on, this is also part of it. Like if you create like a process for anything you do, whether it's like playing the defense or playing the offense, and let's say like that spot I was describing, if you can create like clear objectives or like make a case for why you would make a certain play, that definitely is something that can help you as an exercise to understand the game better and to understand how to tweak decisions better. Like this is really just what doing analysis is, and how it can benefit you is by trying not to be sort of in any way emotionally connected to the outcome of what happens, and just not to make any assumptions, and try to just feel it out a little bit and be like, okay, what were the good things about what I did? What are the bad things about what I did? And why? And then as you start tying in bigger principles, it allows you to make have clearer thinking on what's good or not. I'm definitely not a great example right now because I'm not playing to get to kind of min-max my improvement. When that happens, I usually let people know. But But otherwise, it's definitely a case of like, creating a structure to your approach like that. That can be really helpful for people because it tends to be the thing that people don't do. And it's also like better advice than when people say, oh, just like watch VODs, watch demos, you know, like, but, you know, for most people who don't understand how to do analysis, like you got to understand what you're getting from that experience. If you don't have the tool, that's kind of like saying, you know, build a house and here's all these bricks and you have no knowledge of how building houses works. You just see a pile of bricks on the floor. Like, what are you supposed to do with that? Like, you know,
This topper bopper guy.
you can watch someone who's really good at doing it, but like at the same time, it's just there's so much going on.
So he's good.
This is a very bad analogy because I don't know anything about building houses, but yeah, I think hopefully maybe you get what I mean.
Days ago, we dropped like 40 kills on me.
Good to know.
How did you beat
We'll
this
return
stage,
to this in a second. One top mid.
1B.
Cover going out.
2B, 2B. Sage right now.
It's smoke market. Hit 2 for 60. 3 there in B main. Fuck. So yeah, so like analysis is about like, that's like one thing you can do, right? So it's like, I think for analysis is it two bigger questions. One question is this exercise of like doing what we said, like taking it case by case. The game is showing you examples, puzzles. Is this play good? Is this play bad? You know, why, what's happening? You know, what arguments can you make? Why is one thing better than the other? How is one advantage greater than another? How could I get into advantage from this position when I was in this particular spot, and did I make the most out of it? Like, you can start asking all these questions, right? That's like your case by case analysis. But what you also want to do is at the same time, you want to try to build a key understanding of the greater principles at play. So like some of and these things give you answers to things, right? So if you're already outcome oriented and that's your principle, that no matter what the outcome, so long as the outcome was successful, the actions that led to the outcome that was successful means I'm playing good. This is an inherently like faulty assumption and faulty principle, right? Because we know that like you can in poker, let's say poker's very analogous in the sense. You can make a really hang on. Nothing mid.
On a wall.
They're lit. 51, 48.
Okay, all 5 there. 55, 55, 55, 135.
Poker. Don't forget about poker.
Cover going out.
Yeah, so the thing in poker is that, you know, it's a numbers game. And the reason why we think why poker is analogous is because there's lots of variance in poker, things outside of your control that can impact the result. So that means that you're dealing with probabilities, right? So we're not dealing with a success outcome, like a binary 1-0 system. It's a system that's is based on variance. So with that said, it's more about being as consistent as possible. And that's what making the best players. And our memories are pretty notoriously bad in terms of
Shadows traveling.
Rushing B, rushing B, rushing B. Or at least 3.
Stealing sight.
team will be main.
31.
And our memory is notoriously bad in terms of this, as being a judge to all of this. It's a terrible bookkeeper in terms of, and it's also very dishonest in terms of representing what happened when we make plays and do things in the game. This is why like watching your own VODs is important, and it's not good enough to just be like do the analysis after each play, because firstly you're splitting your focus between two different things. You're trying to play and then do analysis, and kind of, you know, you have to note down. It's very helpful to write the things you need to do differently, or write the actionable steps to improving based off of the research that you've done and the analysis that you've done. So that's like its own process.
I don't fucking know anymore.
Alright, let's win now.
Shadows traveling.
That's its whole own thing. 2 top mid.
So B main.
Two mid, one B main. One A main. Two A main, two A main.
Stealing sight.
One's closer, one's going in.
Couple mid. Oh god, missing everything. So yeah, so you have these two ideas. So practicing the analysis by constantly breaking down small like situations, but also then trying to look towards and learn the deeper principles of the game. So deeper principles of the game would be stuff like the mechanics of just the game world, right? So like, for example, Pika's advantage. This is something that's just an inherent mechanic to the game world. It's how the game operates, which means that, which means that like, were we playing with the Awesomeness guy? I think we were. Hang on. I have to pick this up. This will up in a second. What's up, Colbite? How's it going?
Yeah, it's okay though.
What am I doing?
What rank is this? I'm immortal.
I'm diamond 2.
Diamond 2.
Shadows traveling.
I think B main.
One mid. Nice.
That doesn't do anything, you guys.
One top mid. Was I getting shot from like behind or something? I'm not sure.
I don't think retake. I have bought.
I did think him.
Probably
I hit Omen for 100. What were we talking about? Oh yeah, the deeper principles of the game and so on. So like, there you have to think about. Oh yeah, so the mechanics that are fundamental in like the game. So Pika's advantage is that's about net code, right? Net code is something is code that's written, which tells your computer on the network how it sends data and receives data. So which represents your avatar in the game universe, right? So what we understand from that is like there's this advantage if you peek because of the way the netcode's set up. There's less time for the person that's being peeked on to react. So taking initiative then and being the one to swing first can be advantageous because of that. So that's like one thing you've learned there, or something like distance advantage, right? This concerns every single angle of the game. So it just as you start to like build something like this principle understanding, you then get to a point where you are able to use that as the framework for all of the other small things we were talking about, like when you're breaking down constantly like certain things, and this framework gives you the answers for when you're doing those exercises, and also keeps you honest from being outcome oriented. So yeah, that's my like take. I could go into more depth in terms of like how all that stuff works. Jetson mid with operator.
120 Omen.
They're committing. I'm not sure they are.
The hunt begins. Shadows traveling.
What?
Blinding.
Spike down A. Last player standing.
So wrecked there.
They're going to scatter from my stuff.
Yeah, you're right, Mike. He was indeed. Like actually owning everyone. I don't know why I'm just not able to kill people right now. Yeah, it was so there was a quote from Simple a long time ago, which I think was great and genius in a way in which I think people wouldn't necessarily have
Just want to go next, or we want to
seen if they just take it kind of at face value.
Cover going out. Cover going out. Stealing sight.
What the? How is he not dying? All those shots, I don't understand.
Spike planted.
One's already through heaven.
Last player standing.
This motherfucker, bro. Alright, let's get next. I'm getting off. This is retarded.
Oh dear.
Let's just please go next.
Been pretty rubbish, Captain Smoker, I gotta say. Were you in the scores esports really recently? Maybe, I don't know. Possibly, I don't know what was the video about. I have no idea.
Need to, whoever did that, you're
So yeah, so going to your point, Alex. So Simple had this thing. It's like you just have to play and just always try 100%. And it's like that makes a lot of sense, but really there's more to that than. I don't know what I'm doing anymore. Just top mid. Why am I peeking and dying there? So this thing I'm experiencing right now, obviously, like I think I mentioned before, there is an element of like getting good at streaming and talking at the same time because you're splitting your attention. But one thing that like that feeling of like, oh, why did I do that? That means when you're playing, you're too tired. That is the reason. There's two reasons. You're too tired. Your focus drops. But you're too fatigued, and you don't have to be like physically fatigued for that. It's more about mental fatigue, right? So even if you feel like really awake, you can still be doing stuff like that. So you can still be mentally fatigued. So it's really good to like pick up on that feeling, because you shouldn't play when that's the kind of way that you feel. It does look like a lurk smoke, which is quite cool. Oh, he's actually can see over the top of it. Aim in top mid. I'm getting wrecked in this game. But yeah, so he's talking about like, be 100% like all the time, but like the ability to do that is quite special. It's very difficult for people to do that. But he's able to get such like consistent and good quality practice all the time. Again, it's kind of about like that's what works for him. The way it works for everybody is just different, because human beings are just extremely different, right? Person to person, everyone is different. That's why self-experimentation is extremely important. You can't be lazy. If you really want to become very good, you cannot be lazy. You have to be honest with yourself as well, and like don't just follow stuff because other people do it. You have to use it as an experiment on yourself to see what of these protocols works for me and why. And then you take the best from that and you move forward and try something else, and you keep taking, and you take the best from that and you keep rinsing and repeating that process. And for some people, playing less is better. For some people, playing more is better. There are some general fundamental principles you can follow in terms of performance that you can, again, it's like a framework. You can stay within that framework. That's very helpful. And you tweak all the other things. I tell people about casting that, that casting is like that as well. Like objectively, like pretty much everything is like this to a certain extent. There's always going to be a structure that exists with anything that you're doing that allows that thing to function as that thing exists, right? Otherwise it wouldn't be recognizable as that thing anymore. So it's the same case here. Like with casting, you can cast in a way which is very different to another commentator, but you can both be extremely good and very enjoyable for completely different reasons. But why am I doing this again? I'm just going to play more passively. One top mid. And like all this pressure that they're putting on right now.
Nowhere to run.
There's no comms at all on or any of that. Nice one. So yeah, but like, so for example, to like get some more specificity behind that idea that was quite abstract, with the commentary, speaking in certain ways sounds better than speaking in other ways. There are certain rules as to what is enjoyable to listen to for the human ear, right? So you want to understand that that's part of your job, is that that's one constraint. Yeah, that's one limitation, is that you have to work within the limits with your delivery of your speech as to what is pleasurable for human beings, right? You have to figure that out. But there's lots of variables within that you can kind of mess with. Jesus.
One less. Get out of my way.
One enemy remaining.
That's three. Reloading.
Last player
Blinds,
standing.
Jen.
Thrifty.
Oh crap.
Um,
Next time. Make it easier for ya.
And it's the same thing with like,
Last round
in that
in
article I
half.
wrote, I think I wrote there's like 3 pillars, right? There's like, is there 3? I forget how I put it now, but like basically there's like 4 fundamental pillars of things that you're doing that make up commentary. Like one is, being informative. One is being entertaining. One is, telling stories, like narratives, and the other one is delivery. So it's like there's 4 pillars. And so there's lots of different, so you can emphasize different pillars. It just depends on the context to a large extent. You can emphasize different things depending on what you're doing, but the way that your delivery is, it always has to be entertaining. I'm just trying to go for it, man. So there you go. Like, it's the same thing being a player, right? Every player needs to understand how to play the game from the basic levels, but you can perform different roles, you can have different speeds and pacing, you can do all sorts within the confines of those structures. So so the whole point of me saying all of these things is that to be a good player, or to learn how to improve, or to guide your improvement, part of it is by like finding what those deeper principles are as to what makes that thing a thing. And then once you have those things, you can break it down even more. So, and that just really allows you to like focus your practice in different ways and improve more quickly, because you can spot things more quickly. That's like ultimately what the good thinking does for you. It's like it kind of, you have some ideas and you kind of codify those ideas in like a concept or a term or a word, and then that allows you to then focus your improvement on that kind of subset of whatever skill that is, or whatever it might be. Cat.
Last player standing.
Yes, right. What if I saw a future that happened?
Match point.
Oh, interesting. Coldlight. Yeah, I have no idea. I have no idea about that. So there doesn't have to be a balance per se. Like, in terms of delivery, right? Everyone needs to be good at delivery at the top level. It's the same thing as everyone at the top level of Valorant needs to have good mechanics, right? That's kind of the equivalent thing here, in that sense. So, from that perspective, that's fine. I'm a commentator that's more focused on being more informative. That's like just my style. It's like understanding what's going on and trying to one of my priorities as a commentator, and how I lean my stylistic choices, is to like what I talk about, what I want to focus on, is all about trying to see the game as deeply as the pros do, and trying to bring that and kind of translate that to the viewer, so that you can understand what I think is the most important thing about professional matches, is that what we're watching is a spectacle of the perhaps 2 best teams in the world playing each other and trying to find advantages versus each other. I think that's so fascinating, that the 2 best teams in the world, one of those teams is going to find more advantages and execute them than the other team. And these are people that obviously this is their profession, this is their life's work. So that story, to me, that's why we're watching this. That's what we want to see and understand. So that's my priority. Some commentators may prioritize, they have, again, like they'll have that great delivery, right? If you have that great delivery, that's like your base mechanic, then, you're going to be able to do a lot of different things with that. If you want to focus on the entertainment, be a hype man, or if you want to focus on the banter and be, for example, let's say, Tasteless and Artosis are, they know exactly, they're great commentators because, if you've never heard them in like StarCraft, they can be very analytical and they understand StarCraft super well. They're like the full package commentators. They're also extremely entertaining as well on top of that. And they have great hype and their delivery is like feels, they just have an amazing, they just are A+ in like every category. In Valorant and so on, what they lack is, they lack that tactical FPS experience and knowledge to be, as good in that way. But also like StarCraft is a game where they understand that game so well and the pacing of it, and the game is beautiful for commentators that have great banter and chemistry because it gives you so much time to work with, that their chemistry is as a duo also plays massively into their success as casters. But they're so entertaining. They could cast literally any game that I have zero interest in, and I will just be interested in watching them or listening to them because they're so funny. But you can get certain commentators like for let's say a major event, you're not going to need that or want that as much. And when they're doing a major event, they're not going to give you as much of that stuff. They're going to focus more on what's happening. And this is another like thing I have marked as very important, is you always want to stay congruent to the game, right? You don't want to be like screaming your lungs out like it's the major finals if it's an open qualifier for like Nerd Street or something. Nothing against Nerd Street, but that's not the most, in Valorant circuit, that's not a super prestigious, an open qualifier for that's not super prestigious. So it's not about that. That's not where the viewers are getting value. There's different value to be found there, and you have to be congruent to that. So there is a degree of knowing as a commentator what parts of these skill sets you need to employ to get the best experience for the viewers in the game. So one thing that in CS:GO James and I were really well known for is we used to cast a lot of games that were kind of crappy, honestly, and we were able to make really uninteresting games kind of if you could follow them somewhat because we would be congruent. We know it's not a super serious game. We're gonna have a laugh and make jokes and talk about random things, and that works and that makes sense. So it's all about like a great commentator has all of these tools. They can do all of it, and they just know how to like make the best combo happen. At the same time, a commentary is a package of two people. It's and two people that, like any team, should be greater than the sum of its parts. And with those two people, what's interesting too is that is a very deep experience that you have to spend a lot of time on, is working as a partnership, making a product and picking, like you both have all these skills. How do you complement each other the best? How well do you know each other as human beings? Like, how comfortable are you with each other? Like, you need to really know the person really well and get the reps in with them and have the ability to produce something that's very complementary. So that can take a lot of time, and like getting a good read of your co-commentator, like knowing when they're going to stop talking, just understanding each other's pacing, and just there's lots of elements to it that require a lot. And if you do a good job and you get a good pairing and they work hard together, they produce amazing things. I mean, that's why like the best commentators, it's never one guy, it's two guys. It's one guy who's with the other guy that makes them great as well, or helps to make them great, and vice versa. So this is another thing, right, where I see a lot of casting pairs get split up, myself included, in some of these Valorant events, and it just makes it, I think, for a worse quality product overall, because you want the ability to have those reps with people so that you can produce something really great. Also, people get to know your kind of brand of cast. You get to have your own kind of personality. People connect to you more because they'll get to used to like certain moments that they'll have shared of you on a certain game, a funny thing, a historic moment that's maybe serious or not serious, like whatever it is. Like, people draw those those connections to a duo. I mean, you can. It's not as powerful, I think, as like one, like just people just rotating all the time. It's not as memorable, I think. The other thing too is like duos is that like it's, you know, you get to you know, start creating your own catchphrases. You get to start like setting each other up in ways that you couldn't do if you're like if you're just a guy that's rotating with those other people. Like there's just so many benefits and advantages to it. So yeah, I think we need more of that in general. Like me and Sean, for example, like we could be significantly better. I think, you know, he is new to commentary. I think people in Valorant don't necessarily know that. Like he's not a commentator. Really, historically he's done analyst desks in CS:GO, but this is the first time he's tried to really be a commentator. But we're not getting any reps, unfortunately, at the moment, so that's regrettable. But as time goes on, you know, we'll improve and we'll be able to get better as time goes on. That was a really long tangent about the commentary and principles of skills and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, so to kind of wrap up the point a little bit, because I had someone who made a comment to me, a talent from some time back, basically saying that it seems like everybody thinks that, you know, you have to be like Sean to be considered a good commentator or something, right? As like an analyst. And my answer was that that's not the case. It's just that he is just one flavor of an analyst. Like you can be a good, enjoyable commentator in many different ways. In reality, you actually want every duo to be quite different. And with that, that's how the viewers really win, because they get, you know, truly refreshed. You don't want everyone to be the same. That's just not going to be good in the long term. You want everyone to be different. And it can be like that. We've seen it's like that in every game. There's so many examples of this. Just because, you know, one person might be considered one of the better examples right now, that doesn't really mean anything in the grand scheme of things. There's lessons to be learned as to why people enjoy what they're doing. That is very valuable, but ultimately it's not. Again, you can be very good in very many different ways.
Deathmatch. Warm up.
Yeah, it sort of depends massively. Like if a game's not as interesting, or there's not as much educational material about it, then you might have to obviously like try to make it fun. You know, some broadcasts as well, it might be about something else. Like it might be about just like giving a platform to the players or the teams and trying to celebrate them a little bit. You know, having that place in a competition and that being sort of a good moment for them, because the service you're doing is. I mean, again, it depends on your viewpoint. For me, ultimately, coming from a playing background myself, I always wanted to measure if I felt like I was doing a good enough job based on, as a pro player, like, what would I be satisfied with listening to if I was a pro player, just like listening to myself, basically. And if I feel like I've done the pros justice, if they feel like I'm not cheapening what they are doing, then that means I've done my job. Because again, like I said, my priority is how can I find a way to use myself, to use my co-commentator to try and help the viewers understand what the pros are doing and bring that into layman's terms in a way that forms a narrative round to round. Because one of the things that for me is a really important priority as well when casting is trying to set up the story of the round to rounds, because it is a story. You have to connect them strategically and tactically, right? Because one thing you can do as a commentator in a game like this is you can just cast it and just say what's happening, right? But if you're really good, if you're like very good, what you can do is you can say what's happening whilst also seeing like the macro elements as well, and being like, okay, so let's set up what's going to happen. Let's not just see what's going to happen and describe it. Let's set it up and try to invest people in it, because every single, like at the beginning of a round, there's like action somewhere. One team will take the action, first action, or the teams will take action at the same time, and then one of the teams will have an advantage and one will not have an advantage, they'll have a disadvantage. So you need to be understanding that there is a strategical element and a tactical element to all of that, and that you want to tell that story. So how did the team set up to attack something? How did it go? What, and like, let's say whilst they're setting it up, something let's say Sean will be really good at is he'll say, this is like the one thing that we need to focus on. You know, we need to focus on this thing, because if this happens, then this team can do this, and if it doesn't happen, then this will happen. And so now you're like immediately invested in this play that's about to happen. You can kind of have the delivery be a little bit lower, so you can kind of have that kind of build-up delivery where you're not like super excited, but you're kind of you've given the viewers what they need to know to be invested in the next play. Then the play happens, and you can shout about it and whatever, bring the energy up, bring the pacing up to the delivery, and then it's about figuring out, okay, well, what does that mean now? Where are we left in the macro sense of things? What is left in terms of who has advantage, who has disadvantage? What needs to happen, and what's the most exciting thing that needs to happen? Like, so you're just having like some kind of a structure there where you're providing meaning so people can follow along and understand how to be invested at all times, no matter how much they understand the game. That's like for me the true way to cast. And what's quite difficult about it sometimes is that you do have to be able to read the game really well. You have to be able to look at the minimap and immediately start setting things up well ahead of time. And if you can do that well and do it in a structured way, you have flexibility. If other things happen, you can have some flexibility if you've done it well, that you'll be able to just pivot if you need to. That's the other thing too as well, is that like with duos, it's not just about having good chemistry, it's also about having the same kind of philosophy in how you look at the game strategically, analytically. Because if I'm going to try to set somebody up as a play-by-play, like I'm going to try to set Sean up, I'm going to kind of build the framework for him, and I can do that better because I know how he thinks about the game. We both think about the game strategically in the same way, so I know kind of all of the points that he's thinking about or like wants to make a lot of the time. Or if I don't, I know what the important bit of space is to leave him to do that job. And again, I think that's his strong suit, is showing and concisely describing the tactics that the teams will use that will turn the tide. So that's another thing where like you do need reps with people, because you have to kind of like, you both have to see the game in the same way. You really do. So you can be on the same page. Because if I think something's really important, right, and the guy next to me doesn't think that's important, even if objectively one of us is right, it's still like disjointed. It's still very disjointed. GHL, I think it's just a case of playing. I'm sure that all the hours in CS, like you've got good mechanics and stuff like that. Good enough mechanics. So I would just start by making sure that you understand all of the abilities for all of the agents, more or less, and make sure that you understand sort of like some of the interactions of those abilities in different parts of the round, like early rounds, what should you expect, and just like understanding some of the basic reactions, which you can do by playing and getting that experience, but then picking obviously an agent that kind of works for you stylistically, and just like try learning specific things, break it down to begin with, like focus on learning certain things on defense and offense, have like a thing or two that you'll just try or learn, stuff that you've either copied or seen from they're good players, and just kind of like build plays, build tactics into your repertoire. And in doing that, one of the reasons why that can be quite good is because if you're playing like that and kind of focus on specific plays, you're also in a spot where you're kind of limiting variables, right? If something goes wrong with that play, you can kind of like figure out why. You can kind of experiment and change things because you started out with a default kind of approach to that one thing. The reason why I think this can be a helpful approach sometimes is because what can happen is if you're just running around, you're trying loads of stuff, so you don't really know what is the one thing that I can improve. And generally, like in CS, the game starts in loads of different ways, right? But it is structured. There is order to the madness. So in CS, let's say on Mirage, right? On Mirage, there's like 4 possible openings, or I suppose 4 directions you can go in Mirage in CS as a terrorist player, right? You can go, well, 5, I guess. You can go Palace, you can go Ramp, you can go Mid, you can go Underpass, you can go B-Apps. These are the areas you can go, and you can go into those places at different pacings, right? And by doing that, each pacing means something different, especially with the context of what your team's doing, right? But in CS, like, practicing like the Palace lurk, for example, in rounds where your team is working mid or something, that's a thing that you can get good at. You can practice that thing. You can look at like one-way smokes. You can look at players who play that position in pro matches. You can kind of focus on how that works. And if you go ahead and you start doing this, and if you find that that's not super valuable because maybe it's the case that I find that actually I don't get much action doing this. It doesn't seem that relevant right now. I'm not really getting quality practice doing this. You try something else. Like try, what are like some lurk smokes you can place if you want to. If this is again still the style you're playing that kind of you're lurking on the extremity. Focus on that now, and then you slowly kind of build stuff into the repertoire. So you can take that approach instead as well. Hello. Let's play.
Did you hear me yell?
I do yell once. Yeah, there's a loud one.
Huh?
It's a loud one.
Was it?
I had one loud one. Yeah. How'd it go? Not good.
I just have 12-year-olds. And I was yelling, so I didn't yell at him.
Yeah.
I have to give him a lesson on shutting the fuck up when people are clutching and he's dead.
If you want, I can play one with you. I'll pop up the stream and jump on the Smurfy Poo.
Are you doing anything valuable?
I was giving some advice. Yeah.
George. I bet I know your real name. I bet it's George. If you want to keep
What's up, Versace?
that's fine.
That's cool. I'll wrap up. I'll see more of me. Very nice. Right, so I'm gonna wrap up for now, but I'll probably be back on tomorrow as well. It's always really fun answering people's questions. Hopping on the offense. Yeah, so that depends a lot on the agent that you're playing and what you have to work with. But especially in matchmaking, it's actually very powerful to do what you see in pro play, where you mix up the angles. It gets even better, obviously, if you have people supporting you, and you may or may not want that in certain spots. But because you can dash away with the jet operator, there's lots of spots. Think about spots that you can play with that, like deep off angles that you can't do with other agents. That's like a good one to think about. Like, for example, pushing down on the defense. Oh, you said opping on the offense. Okay, shit. Well, I just say this example anyway, but like pushing on the defense on Haven on C down C long, it's pretty good because you can, no one expects a super deep peak. It's a really strong off angle at the early timing. If they're playing, it's like the same thing as CS, right? What this punishes when you push the operator on the extremities on the defender side, what this punishes is the team that's defaulting, where they're putting presence on a mid position and leaving kind of a singular player playing the extremities, like 1-3-1 or something like that is when it's really strong. But you were talking about the offense. I think with the offense, it depends a lot on how aggressive the other team is, and it also depends on what your team is doing in terms of pressure, because a lot of it comes down to rotations and also like knowing how to jiggle angles, knowing how to use the cloudburst, knowing how to jockey forward position, like these kinds of things. You know, there's lots of there's more nuance there, and it's more case by case. Yeah. So with all of that said, I can probably go into more details with that at another point, but I will be wrapping things up. So thanks everyone for tuning in. It was lovely talking to all of you, and I will see you on the next stream, hopefully tomorrow.